Tom, I guess we might as well start with the Roe v. Wade decision, the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, again, to clarify, this was a leaked document suggesting this is how the majority of justices might vote, but the furor resulting from it has been quick and pretty widespread.
And the furor is mostly, of course, directed at the result of this draft decision, which would be to roll back a constitutional guarantee as interpreted by the Supreme Court almost exactly 50 years ago, which would send women back in many states to be butchered. Let's not put too fine a point on it. This is what used to happen before abortion was legalized in the United States. So it's an unbelievable situation that, of course, comes about because Donald Trump outfoxed the Democrats in terms of getting his people in. And when Obama was there, without putting too fine a point on it, he didn't do very well in getting his own appointments in. And now we've got a completely unbalanced Supreme Court. Now, somebody who wanted to produce this effect leaked this document. Tons of speculation as to who that might be. But there's no question it's like swatting a hornet's nest with a stick right now. The people are very upset in the United States. And I thought that Joe Biden, by the way, he's not always good with words, but he was pitch perfect today when he said, look, what are we going to wait for the state of Florida to ban gay marriages? Because, of course, several years ago, the United States Supreme Court finally concluded that under the U.S.'s guarantees, under their Constitution, yes, that, same-sex marriage was legal. And lo and behold, he chose that example today saying, well, this is the next thing that could be rolled back because the actual decision itself is exceptionally weak. Constitutionally, in terms of the arguments that are put together. It's essentially, we looked in the documents that were drafted in 1776 and we don't find anything on abortion and therefore it was never contemplated. I mean, it's ridiculous as legal argument, but that's the type of judge that Trump's put on that court.
Yeah. Tom, how does this play into Canadian politics? Because we were talking about a debate between the Conservative MP, or a couple of the ones running for the leadership of the party coming up, I guess, this week. And we know that there have been private members' bills that have been brought forth to kind of bring abortion back.
Oh, and I was there in Ottawa for years, and the Conservatives, especially when Harper was there, once or twice a year, a Conservative backbencher would bring in a new bill saying, well, let's have a parliamentary committee determining the exact moment where life begins. Oh, let's ban, sex selection abortions, because they're always looking for an angle where enough people could agree with them. And, of course, right now, Candace Bergen is the interim leader of that party, and the real problem is she's very anti-abortion, and so she's in a situation where she put out a word to all of the sitting MPs and the senators this morning saying, don't talk about this. So they sent out poor Gérald Deltel, at least on the French side. I think maybe he did both, and said, got nothing to do with us. This is the Americans. Well, it has everything to do with us. Tomorrow, the Ontario provincial election campaign begins. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the track record of Doug Ford, he has been tiptoeing all around this, if you can imagine Doug Ford tiptoeing. He's been going all around this file. Sometimes he will back an individual MPP. That's what they call their M&As there, the MPP, who has an anti-abortion rally. He's very careful. He's trying to play all sides. Some of the anti-abortion groups find that he hasn't done enough for them, and they're blaming him. So this will be the first test as to whether or not it becomes a live issue in Canadian politics will be the Ontario provincial election. Trudeau was on it right away, strong tweet. Singh gave an interview today. Yeah. I thought he was excellent. He was pitch perfect in what he did.
And Jean Charest has tweeted out as well, saying he's vehemently pro-choice. Are you expecting this to come up a lot in the debate? I guess that debate's on Thursday, and Leslyn Lewis is the only...
I think it will, because Leslyn Lewis, of course, is there. They did a good job, by the way, in the Conservative Party of keeping out some of the ultra-marginal candidates, because then we would have been up to 9 or 10 like they were the last couple of times, and it's useless. You can't have a debate with 10 people. So 6 people on the stage, 2 of whom are basically, non-entities politically. That's fine. The four real candidates who are Poilievre, Charest, Patrick Brown, and Leslyn Lewis, they'll have a couple of set twos. The problem is it'll be mostly prepared lines. There won't be too much original. Charest is an excellent debater, and he prepares well. Poilievre has been getting away with so much. He just says stuff and then he moves on, and nobody really challenges him because he won't give interviews. So it's going to be the first time anybody gets to nail him down a little bit. But trying to nail Poilievre down is like trying to nail Jell-O to the wall.
So are you expecting fireworks or not? I mean, I know everyone, as Natasha said, Leslyn Lewis is very clear on her position on this. Does it turn into a fight over abortion law?
It's going to be there because the one who's the weakest on this is Poilievre. Mm-hmm. Patrick Brown, Jean Charest, clear as a bell, pro-choice. Period. Full stop. Poilievre, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and he's not going to make the same mistake as Scheer and actively court the so-called pro-life side of things. He'll let Leslyn Lewis do that, but he's got an implicit deal with Leslyn Lewis that if she doesn't make it through to further rounds, all her votes come to him, and he wouldn't get that sort of sweetheart deal with her unless he had been at least able to wink that he's certainly not as bad as Charest or Brown on this issue. So, yes, it'll be part of the discussion, and they will try to nail him down, but I don't think they'll succeed.
Well, I want to just say, when we interviewed him, that was one of our questions, very direct and simply asked, and he responded very directly and simply saying that he was pro-choice. So I'm hoping he'll take the same approach. Yeah,
well, we'll see. Well, he is a younger player, and he doesn't want this to become a thing for him. But you're lucky to have had that interview back when you did, because you might have noticed there's a lot of frustrated journalists and other outlets across the country because he doesn't do any interviews right now. He's the perceived front runner, and this is called a classic front runner strategy. You don't want to create the misstep that becomes an issue.
Yeah, although I got to tell you, for a guy running a platform where, I want to make Canada the freest country ever, how do you sort of look at this abortion question and not say, okay, well, we're going to have to go along or not?
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. And as this thing tightens, he can't get on the wrong side. It's one thing for him to be on a Montreal radio station. But it's another thing for him to be on the stage being watched by all of his base. By the way, the first debate is one that's essentially being put together by a committee. It's not one of the official debates, but they're all going to be there. So it's going to be interesting to see, because there's going to be a lot of pressure in that particular room for people who are of more or less the Leslyn Lewis sway of persuasion. So Poilievre will be there in very comfortable territory economically. She'll be there very comfortable with the social conservative side. Charest might get squeezed a little bit in this first debate.
All right. Look, we've been talking about the REM, the Caisse de dépôt, the mayor having basically changed teams here in the last 10 days. Suddenly, I listened to the public and we can't go forward with this. What do you think?
Well, you have to follow what just happened up in Quebec City in the last couple of hours. So Charles Lemont, who's the head of the Caisse de dépôt et de placement Quebec, tore a strip off Valérie Plante in parliamentary committee. So he was up there. It was supposed to be a discussion mostly about finance and that side of things, and he was up there for that. This is the annual exercise that you go through. In French, they call it, the translation is defense of the credits. You're defending your budget estimates, to put it in proper English. And so it's an important exercise in our democracy, because one of the key things that any parliament does is decide how your money gets spent. And lo and behold, out of nowhere, this guy starts going after Plante, saying, well, I met with her and she was, very much on side, and then she changed her mind and she did this. I mean, this guy's not an elected official. So when and where and how is Valérie Plante? I know she's an experienced politician. I know she's very capable. But when's she supposed to answer this guy? How is she supposed to handle that? He's not been elected to anything. It's not because they plunked him in a parliamentary committee that he gets to start taking pot shots at a politician. I could not believe what I was hearing when I saw this guy let fly.
Can I ask you a question, Tom? Is this a black eye for the Caisse de dépôt, the fact that they're having this thing yanked away from them, even though they said they went along with many of the changes that originally were proposed?
The real black eye is that you and I are now on the hook for reimbursing tens of millions, apparently $100 million, to the Caisse de dépôt for their work on a project that won't go through because they refused to consult properly. And today, out of nowhere, Amo was claiming that he had 70% of the population on side. But I mean, that could be a very easy thing to ask as a question. Would you like more, electric public transit to your area? Answer: yes. Does that mean you're going to be putting a horrible chunk of concrete all the way down, some of the most beautiful thoroughfares like René Lévesque Boulevard in Montreal? I don't think that was in the question. I'm just guessing.
Okay.
That's just about saving face at this point. Before we run out of time, I would love to know your thoughts on the Guy Lafleur funeral today, Tom.
Well, I had a chance because I had a chance to listen to the two of you earlier this afternoon when I did my French TV, and I have to say, Natasha, I agreed with one statement that you made that I thought was absolutely beautiful and spot on. We said, this is the best of Montreal and Quebec, everybody together at the same time. Jeanette Renaud, singing L'Essentiel, one of her classics. I think that there's some beautiful speeches, including the perfectly bilingual one from Larry Robinson. But I think that I think that Patrick Roy just really was outstanding, and it was so heartfelt. It was really great emotion, and like you said, and I agree with you, just a wonderful way to say goodbye to Guy Lafleur that represents the best of the best.
Yeah, and no one does a funeral quite like the city of Montreal. I mean, everything, top to bottom, and we've heard that from everybody who was there today, saying how well planned, how everything went off, pitch perfect.
And well, it actually ended early. They had actually booked it for at least another 10 to 15 minutes, knowing that these things always go long. But apparently, especially the players had been told, keep it short, keep it short, keep it short. And they must have coordinated it because nobody went long.
There you go.
Wow.
Tom, thank you so much. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Take good care.